Today I'll be unboxing the Metcal Hct2-200 pencil Hotair Rework station. I've had this for a couple of days now, but I've not had the chance to sort of do a video of unboxing this, so this is the opportunity. The earlier version was Hct120, and the difference between the 120 and the 200 is the heat output. Basically, this gives out 200 watts of power versus the other 120 watts basically. So I was recommended by Metcal UK support team to sort of buy this. And the other thing is the 120 has been discontinued anyway, so it won't be available via major UK retailers like Element 14 and so on and so forth. So let's unbox this. Right, I may have to sort of maybe struggling with space here, so I'll just sort of quickly shift things around. So quite obviously the instruction manual, I don't know if you can see this clearly due to the lack of light. There you go. Okay, so it tells you what you should and shouldn't do. Very quick sort of operation manual, I should say. Here we go. So I'll have a quick read through that after. Right, so let's make this very, very well padded so it doesn't get damaged during the transit probe. Right, okay, the first thing that's going to come out of the box is the heater sort of element pad, which I doubt it very much that you're going to be sort of removing the element while it's hot, but they've included one anyway. This is more useful with the soldering station, which I already have one on the bench over there. Next thing out of the box is the tiny nozzle. Now the nozzle actually varies from, let me get some measurements here, just bear with me for a sec. Okay, let's sort of go on the web quickly. Hct2-200, let's sort of get some specs. Okay, so here we are. These little nozzles, the size varies from, there's 6 in the pack, well 5 in the pack and 1 is attached to the handpiece itself. And the straight nozzles starts from 1.5mm, moving on to 2mm, 2.5mm, 3mm, 3.5mm, and the largest nozzle is 4mm. Okay, so the largest one is 4mm. And apparently you can sort of, this pencil Hotair Rework station is designed for sort of SMDs up to, they say, 1206 packages, but you can sort of utilize removing other smaller components or small components. Just one other thing with regards to the nozzle, I did buy a very special pack of nozzles, which is again for this rework station, these bend nozzles, and that's the part number, if you can see this. Okay, and again the size is exactly what I've read out before, but these are very special in its own way. So when you're holding the pencil down like this, see if you can see this, you can actually target, so specific components via sort of approaching it from the top. Okay, whereas with the straight nozzle, you may be blowing things onto a different part of the board. So a typical example would be, okay, so say for example on this board, I don't know, I'm struggling with lights, my apologies guys. Okay, yep, okay, that's better. So say for example you want to move a component from here, okay, and you've got this battery connector on the way for the CMOS. Okay, with this you can target it like this, and hopefully you're not going to be exposing a lot of heat onto the connector or the RAM DIMM slot. Whereas if you are using a straight nozzle, then let me grab a straight nozzle. You would be either targeting it like this, and there is a good chance that as you're approaching, you will expose a lot of heat and you may damage and melt the plastic. But very importantly, the main purpose of this bent nozzle is actually when you're working under microscope, you have a better control over where you're hovering and where you want to distribute the actual heat. So as I'm repeating myself, the main purpose of this nozzle is to sort of work with ease under microscope. I mean, quite obviously, whether you use this straight or whatever, you will be exposing some heat around these rubber parts, but these are specifically designed for working under microscope. Well, that's what according to the manufacturer's website. Right, so let's put these in the pack. Okay, now moving on to the unboxing. An Allen key. What this is for. Let's bring out the stand. So there you go. That's the stand, and it is a tip saver stand, I believe. So as soon as you put it in, it'll start sort of this is a magnet somewhere here, which sort of senses the unit to sort of or tells the unit to go into a standby mode. And so it'll automatically start reducing the temperature. So that's the stand. Okay. Then various plug type. So these two European plugs. Don't know why they've given me two here. So let's have a look and see if I can find a UK plug. There should be one. Yes, there is. So I've been given two European plug and one UK 3-pin. So I'll be using this. So let's put this to a side, okay. And we're down to the main unit now. So let's get this out, put this box away, and let's throw these foam pads in. I'm going to keep the rest out, but I'll throw the rest of these foam pads in the box. I will be keeping the box anyways regardless, so that's that. And let me lower my camera now. I can do that, just bear with us for a sec. Move things around to try and give you a bit of a better view. Right, so that box can and just before sort of moving the box away, let me sort of give you an idea of what the part number is of this unit. So it's Hct2-200-21. What that means is 210 volt basically, and I've got this from Farnell or Element 14. It's pretty much the same company, that, with two different sort of whatever. Okay, so let's crack on with the rest of the okay, let's see if I can get a better. Okay, I believe that's that. Okay, now let's bring this station. It is solid. Not as solid as the cast sort of, and with like the Metcal MX 5000 series, or the 500 series I should say. Okay, so let's look at the handpiece now. That's very small, and as daft as it may get, I'm going to sort of measure this. The actual element, or the is well, just in the elements is just inside that is 8.75 millimeter, and the tip is 5 mil, but that's on that's because of the outside. The internal gap is 4 mil basically. Handpiece. if you can get these readings. Can you actually see those readings? I'm not quite sure if you did see this. Right, let me get this close up. So, as I said, I'm just being a bit silly now. Okay, this is just bonkers, but what's the length of the unit? Let's see if I can get this into the... so that is 20, sort of like 20 centimetre. And I'm ever so sorry, the light is... I'm shooting this here in night time, that's why. The light backlights I have, I've got plenty, but for some reason the camera's not sort of doing pretty well. So that's that, and let's see what this measures up to. There you go. Okay, so we've got a rough idea as to what the unit is. Sizes, so let's put this thing back. I like to keep my things wrapped up like new, where possible. Can go back on the shelf. Let's put this in the box in a bit. Right, okay, so handpiece. Let's talk about the handpiece. This is very light, very small, compact. You know, I'm really sort of impressed with it, and I believe, as usual, sort of you would be sort of unscrewing this cap here to either replace the tip. Okay, so that's sort of there you go. That's that. So that stays in here, and that's your Hotair, sort of the element itself, and you would literally just sort of pull this off the element. Okay, and you put it back in. So let's sort of put one of the bent nozzle on and see. Okay, now I'm going to put the largest size out of the 6 I've got. So the largest one is, by the look of it, is this one. One thing I didn't mention is the fact that it's got little holes for you to sort of hold those little, to sort of slot them in, these little nozzles, so they'll be slotted in into the tray. So that's that. This is interesting. Very interesting. Okay, is that supposed to be like this? Yes, by the look of it. By the look of it. So why have I fucking got gaps here, but no gaps on the other one? Sorry, I'm referring to these little gaps. So this has gaps, this doesn't have any gap. And that can't go inside this, as daft as it may look. This can't go in this way, so it looks like that you can't sort of use this. You'll have to, it gets replaced with that, and you sort of fasten it like that, and happy days. There you go. So what I meant, let me just sort of get this board back up again, is when you're under the microscope, instead of poking it like this to sort of get a direct heat, you can't do that because you've got a microscope lens literally above here, depending on how much work distance you have, depending on the type of microscope you have. I've got a Vision Engineering Mantis Elite here, and there you go. And unfortunately, the range, if you're using a 10 time or 8 times, not bad, the lens, or if you're using 10 times or anything higher than that, the viewing the working range is extremely low. So for that reason, I actually decided to sort of get this Hotair pencil basically. So I mean, as you can see, that you can very easily sort of work without. I mean, let's just sort of flatten the board. Let me sort of give you a demonstration here. So that's, just imagine that's the flattened board, and there you go. I mean, that's how much, instead of poking it like this, you can just work with ease and remove the packages that you're sort of working on. So that's that. Moving on to the unit. Power switch. These handpieces are now replaceable. The HCT-200-120 was all sort of prefixed onto the unit. They must have had a lot of complaints or whatever. I have seen some of them that has actually teared here, so maybe as a result of that, they've on the newer version, they've decided that you can buy this from most suppliers within the UK. And I have seen the handpiece being sold for separately for £178 plus VAT, I think it is. That's that. The hose is pretty flexible, pretty good. Okay, and the handpiece, in terms of being a bit ridiculous now, let me just sort of show you what it weighs. Just bear with me, just so that you get an idea as to what you're buying. Okay, so I'm going to put it onto the scale, and I'll put it on a gram. The handpiece weighs 67 gram. Okay. So 76 gram, 77 gram, 80 gram, whatever it is, it's bloody light. That's all I can say to you. It's bloody light. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm not getting paid, and this is not a sponsorship video. I'm not getting paid by Metcal. This is my unit, and I have bought it, and that's the end of it basically. And if you want me to sort of validate that, I will hide me address. But there we go. £528.55. That's less. That includes the 10% discount what I've been given for my first order. Okay, which is a voucher here, and that's £48, and so it's you're hitting near £600 for the unit basically. But hang on, but I've purchased. This is yet to arrive. This I've received on my second second post. The first post I had this. The Metcal Hotair Station, so £367 plus 10%, plus 20% VAT, and then you knock off the 10%. However, I'm always sort of eager on buying things like the heating elements, because what tends to happen over time is the unit has been discontinued, or you need heating elements. You're struggling to sort of, you don't want to be stopping working to try and find, heating elements. You want things to be, I want things to be there as in when I need them. So as a result of that, I do tend to buy things up front and keep them. So that's that, and that's the pricing side of it. The nozzles were £78.70 plus VAT 20%. The elements were £43.70 plus 20% VAT. So a grand total of £528.55, which includes the £48.94 discount. And just one other thing, the part numbers. Do I need to sort of go through the part numbers? No, not necessarily. This is a part number for element 14 or final, whatever it is. Right. Okay. So let's move on to the station. Okay, going back on to this power switch, temperature up and down. You've got your LED sort of a display. As you're pressing, it will go up and high. Up means going high, down means sort of going lower. This is a display which will sort of show you the flow of the temperature and the airflow. And on the back, a kettle lead. And I believe this goes onto a sort of a ground thing. I'm missing something out here, or no? Everything's unboxed and unpacked, so don't know what that is for. Some sort of a monitoring tool, whatever it is, or calibration tool. I'm not quite sure what that is, so I'm not going to worry about that. Nope, I'm not going to worry about that. So let's take the kettle lead out and power up the unit and see how you go on with it. Now, one other thing I didn't mention is the fact that there is an aluminium plate there, metal plate there, to sort of, when you sort of place this handpiece in here, the heat is actually sort of going down and hitting onto the plate, so it's not going to damage anything underneath that, hopefully. You know, I like these stands. I've seen some of these stands that have been sort of designed by JBC, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the top of the line units, the stands are like absolute effing bullshit. Even Quicks and a few other stands I've seen, this like vertical stands. With the Metcal series stands, you have absolutely no chance of this sort of dropping out, basically. Absolutely no chance of dropping it out. And the way the stand has been designed, you've got absolutely no chance that it'll just lift like this. No chance, mate. Same with the soldering stations here. Same design. And you know, I do like the design, basically. Right, well, you know what, I've already got a kettle lid here, so I'm not going to sort of unpack this, so I'll just hook that on. Just bear with me for a sec. That on. Okay, and let's power this unit a bit up. Okay, so it's quickly gone into a sort of a standby mode, because I've literally sort of the handpiece is actually in the tip saver sort of a mode. Let's sort of see what do we need to do here. Yeah, it's on a tip saver mode. So let's see if it would let me sort of. Very interesting. Let's right, let's take it all the way to maximum. 7. Let's put this back in. Very interesting. Okay, so when you put the handpiece onto the tip saver, it's slowly sort of dropping the temperature down. The noise level, I am going to go into this button function things in a bit, because I'm not sort of really satisfied as to the way this is working. But to give you an idea as to how much noise it has, I'm just literally inches away to the unit, and I'll shut off for a second. That's the level of noise that this unit has, which I think is pretty brilliant. Let's go a bit lower with the camcorder. Let's move this box. Now the question I have is, am I missing something out here? Because why isn't the temperature, the airflow? Let's just have a quick look at the manual. Okay, so the manual says that first thing first is plug it in as usual, as daft as it may sound. Power on, temperature up and down. Okay, so what you want to do is temperature plus and minus 1 degree. Okay. Yeah, of course, when it's on working equal fan blah blah, don't snooze off. Okay, yep, so it tells you to sort of be careful handling the thingy, and you're obviously not going to change the element while it's absolutely red hot. Interesting, very interesting. So, okay, let's sort of, and it goes up to 7 bar, which is the highest, and I am going to. That's very disappointing. That's extremely disappointing. You know, to the extent where you would have expected that when you hold this down, like my cheap pattern, that it should go down. Is it going down? Of course it is going down. I do apologise. I do apologise. It's not bullshit. I do apologise. If you have to hold it there for a few seconds. So Wow, ouch. Okay, let's try and get it down to the lowest airflow, which is 1.5 bar, and it's reduced the noise. You know what, to be dead honest with you, this is a lot quieter, probably 10 times quieter than the Metcal Hct2-200. That does my head in basically, but it's loud, but equally is probably a lot powerful than this puppy basically here. So let's increase the I would probably keep it to about about 5.5 or probably 6. Okay, now what I will be doing is at some point, as soon as I have time, I'll be sort of doing a review with this versus the Hct2-200, which I have here on the bench. I'll show it to you, or on the shelf I should say. Over here, at some point, we'll be doing a review this versus this versus this. Yeah, there's a lot of hoo-ha about these being crappy. So we'll find out. So as I said, there'll be a comparison between all three of them at some point. Hopefully I'll get this done as soon as possible. So that's that. Now unfortunately, because of the microscope setup I have, I'm not going to be able to sort of demonstrate clearly as to how good this is. However, saying that, I'll try my very best to remove a component now and show you, well, you know, whether if this is any good. It is purely designed for small SMBs, small packages and things like that, not for large packages. So that's that. Let's turn the microscope on, and let's move this around. So let's get this over here, and I'm going to set the temperature to about, come on baby. So the strangest thing is that you have to sort of have the unit turned on to increase the temperature. So when you put this down, then when you put this nozzle down, okay, I don't know if you can see that, sorry, I didn't see that. When you put the handpiece down, you can't actually just, yeah, okay, it would let you, but for some reason it just didn't before. Might let it sort of cool down to 100. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So this is what I was trying to say, but I wasn't sort of putting it in the right way. When it's on a sleep mode, you can't actually, it won't let you sort of change the temperature. Whereas with the Aten, you can. Whereas with the analog Hct2-200, you can. It doesn't matter. With this one, unfortunately, it won't. You have to lift it. Look, I'll hold it down. Nothing. Hold it down. Nothing. Again. Again. Nothing whatsoever. So, when you lift the handpiece off, it would then let you do that. So you can actually increase the bar either by press. When you press in, it goes up by a unit. See? I'm going to sort of put it up to the max. 7 bar. Okay. And then sort of take it up to about, I would set it to about 400 degrees Celsius, which is going to be like a fireball. It's the highest it goes up to. Let's see what the highest it goes up to. I think it's 450. Yes, it does. It's 450. I need to keep this in range and try and get a board and try and remove a component from it. Let's get this in range. Move this box out of the way. Oh god. My room is absolutely jam-packed. Absolutely jam-packed. And you're constantly buying things, you know. I mean, I've had to buy this just recently. The Fume Extractor, again made by Metcal. I don't know if you can see that. The very latest revision, and how you know the very latest revision is the logo is slightly sort of different. Let me see if I can get you a bit more light. Just bear with me for a second. If you can see this, that's the logo for the newer version of these units. All Metcal products basically. So that's that, and I've had to buy that because my previous fume extracting system is just not so great. So it's so much faffing around moving the hose over here and things like that. So I decided, right, okay, I'm just going to get myself a portable but proper extraction system. I won't do a review for that. Just not today. No, absolutely not. Right, okay. So let's sort of find a component that we can move. Let's look through the microscope. Okay, so let's see if I can get a view through that. See this component here? Okay, I'm going to try and remove them. These were already sort of, this is already a part of a repair. So let me sort of see if I can get a nice view for the camcorder to sort of pick up on. Just bear with me for a second, guys, because this is very crucial that I do sort of do a nice demonstration for you lot. This is bullshit, this. Okay. The most advanced and microscopes on the market, but it doesn't have a decent built-in camera. Okay, now the problem I'm going to have is sort of getting a nice view. That's what's bothering me at the moment, actually. I'm trying my very best to try and get a decent view so that I can capture it on the actual unit, a camcorder I should say, but I'm not having much of a luck. Yes, you can call me a jerk for buying this piece of shit, but it's not shit, it's proper industrialized equipment. Just pity that some cheaper end microscope would do a far better job than this shit would, but it's one of those things. Right, let me move this stand here. Okay, and let's sort of see if I can get a nice view through that. Yes, yeah, that's beautiful, beautiful. Right, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Right, okay. Let's get this in range. And where is the component that I'm gonna supposed to have moved? Right, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Look at the picture quality through the eyepiece. Right, okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the nozzle. Now, remember, when you're sort of trying to reflow any or remove any components from the board, ideally what I would recommend is applying flux and then apply a bit of leaded solder. And what that effectively does is it sort of helps to remove the component with ease, because the melting point for the leaded solder is 183 degrees Celsius. So although considering that it has lead free solder, when you apply flux and leaded, it sort of softens the it mixes both together, but equally the temperature of reflow temperature seems to drop, and it's a lot easier to sort of remove the component. So let's just sort of do this. So the station is set at 450 and the highest airflow, which is 7. Okay, and let's go in there. Look, so I'm literally above the unit. Now yes, it is, you're sort of probably thinking that, you know, that you're not having any trouble sort of viewing. Not necessarily. Now a preheater would have helped, but I'm not going to bother with that. So there we go, that's the component removed. Let's put this component back in place. And yes, it's going to be trolling me because I'm using the right hand. I'm a right-handed, so I'm using right hand to sort of remove the holding the handpiece, and left hand with the tweezer, which is going to be an absolute pain on the ass. Because as I said, right, okay, I'm going to have to change the because otherwise I'll be here all night messing around with this. So right, let me position. I don't want to turn the extraction system on because otherwise I'll be very sorry, and I mean very sorry. Okay, let's just sort of put this in position, and I'm gonna hold it in place. Not the best of demonstration, but it's hard to sort of record and okay, so there you go, and I'll show you something else. So how does this help in general with the bend sort of thing? Let's just sort of how does this help? Okay, so when I said, you know, say it's just a typical example. Say you're looking through the microscope like that, and the board is underneath, and you're literally sort of looking through it, you know, and you sort of that's what you would expect from it, instead of sort of like holding it like that. I mean, look, I mean, you know, with the normal rework station, or you can do it like this, but you hit it, your tip is straight, and the airflow would be straight onto the component, along with other sort of surrounding, you know, targeting the other surrounding components which you don't want. So for it to be eliminated, you're literally sort of using this bent tip. And look, I mean, I'll be dead honest with you, I'm thoroughly sort of enjoying using this unit actually, because it's just pretty, you know, very light. That's the important thing, which obviously pencil design is for. Or this is specifically designed as a pencil, and it should be light. Let's just sort of move, let me just find that component, and sort of, let me just sort of reflow it one more time. Let's see if you get in the view. Zoom in a little bit. Oops, be careful, don't be applying too much heat. And as you can gather, this is what I mean. Yep, under the microscope, no problem. While I was recording, I had a bit of a problem viewing the component, but absolutely no problem. Yep, I'm absolutely sort of satisfied with that, because my concern was that whether this bend being on top of my view, you know, as I was recording, it gave me the impression that this will be on my view. It's not. You can sort of view the component without any sort of an issue. So I think that's just absolutely cracking. This unit is going to get utilised more or less every day now, and I'm really happy that I bought this, especially with the discount. And you know, final UK element 14 has been fantastic. You know, you know, with the delivery service and after sale service. So and I would definitely recommend for you to buy if you're within UK. I would definitely recommend, because it's next day delivery, providing that the order is placed before 8 p.m. But what they recommended is that if you're paying through credit card, or to place the order before 7 o'clock, or at least 7 o'clock, so that if they have to carry out any security measures, then as a result of that they will have to sort of carry out the security checks within the a given time, and therefore 7 o'clock is the the very late that you can sort of place an order for the next day delivery, which is free. They use UPS, so I had it through UPS, which was pretty cracking actually. So that's that, and hopefully you've sort of enjoyed this video, and as I said, it's a very compact. Did I sort of measure? I didn't measure the actual unit itself. Sort of get a measuring tape, give you an idea as to what the size of the unit is. Let's get this here. Okay, so the depth front to back is 22 centimeter. It's about 11, say 10 and a half. Yep, 10 and a half. Height is about, I would say, roughly about 17 centimeters. So I'm measuring in centimeters, and yeah, that would be pretty much the same. So I've done this side, done the height, and done the depth. Right, so that's it really. I quite like green and blue sort of an LED. It looks pretty smart. But I was first disappointed with sort of holding and nothing was happening, but you had to hold it down for about between 3 to 5 seconds for it to sort of start sort of doing the faster temperature down or up, or the airflow down or up basically. So I think for me this is a thumbs up, definite thumbs up. So I will be, as I said, I will be utilizing this from tomorrow, and I'll be having a lot of fun working under the microscope, because believe me, the biggest station has been a lot of pain on the ass, especially with the range I have from Vision Engineering. 10 times object basically is very low. So I was struggling, and I don't want to remove get rid of the microscope, particularly because I love the microscope. No eye fatigue, no neck strain, and it is the raw oyster of microscope, but unfortunately it lacks in the digital cameras for you to capture on your PC and stream or record videos, so you can sort of stream on YouTube and things like that. So I'm not really happy about that, but I'm waiting for them to sort of come up with a full HD built-in camera with at least a bare minimum of 30 frame up to 60 frame per second. Ideally I would prefer 60 frame per second, but 30 frame would be okay, I can live with that. At the moment they do have a setup, but unfortunately that's a maximum up to 18 I'm talking about broadband then, 18 frames per second, which is up to. Now up to that doesn't necessarily mean that you will get 18 frames per second, and you will see a lot of lag. Even with 18 frames per second you will see a lot of lag. So bare minimum you want at least is 30 frames per second without seeing any lag basically. And until then, no, I'm not going to change the microscope. I'm going to have to live with that, no props. I'm sure I'm not missing out on anything else. I think that's it really. So yeah, the other thing I was going to sort of point out to yourself is these little things actually sort of, look at them, the size of these. I mean, pretty nice. I'm glad I dropped one when I found it, because anything falls on my floor, that goes into the goes into another dimension, or the third dimension. Okay, let's see. It goes from from large to small. I think. Oh, right, okay, we have a little problem, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, No, I don't. That's okay. That's okay. That goes in here. And that goes in here. So what effectively means is you can keep them nice and organised, as if that matters. But yeah, okay. So what about the bend nozzle then? Why have I not been given that option? See, the bend nozzles have got various sizes. Again, you know, you've got something, if you're working on a very fine 0 to 01 package and you do not want to distribute the heat onto any other surrounding components, this is fabulous. Okay, you can use this. You can also, I mean, particularly this unit is more designed for say working on a mobile phone, iPhones and things like that, iPad. Recently I did a backlight fix on an iPad Mini, and I had to cut the shield out because the Hotair nozzle was quite big, and I couldn't sort of, I didn't want to sort of expose heat around the surrounding components. But with this, I'm pretty sure you can go into areas where you can't go with something as big as that. And as straight as that. So hopefully in those sort of circumstances, these bend nozzles will help enormously. Suppose you can keep it there, but the risks are that if somebody presses on them, or if you accidentally press on them, you'll just bend the front end. So as a result of that, no, definitely not. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of put them back in the pack and leave it nearby. So as and when I need them, I'll just take them out of the pack so it's all in and undamaged. Okay, so that's going in here, and I'll put these ones because I don't want them going missing. So let's, because I'll more than likely I'll be working with that nozzle. It's all, you know, unless I've got a very tight space and I need to sort of work around that, then okay, fine. Otherwise, so let's put this in this pack. You can buy the bend nozzle separately, as I've mentioned probably before. So that's okay. Let's sort of and the Allen key actually, this Allen key is for you to remove these two screws here are Allen key. So I'm assuming this will be for removal of this, but quite obviously you have to turn the unit off to remove that. Let's see what happens. I've powered it off. You know, as a trial and error, let's sort of see what is behind that, how easy it is to sort of remove the handpiece. So let me just unplug it from the back. Okay, something that I wasn't planning to do, but I'll do it anyway just because I've got a bit of a spare time. Do they pop out or they're staying? Let me see. Surprise me, Metcal. I hope they don't pop out. Oh, well, yeah, of course. Okay, brilliant. So they're not popping out, which is a good thing because there's very less likely chances that you're going to damage it. And here we go. Straightforward, like a PC connector. Straightforward. So if you have damaged the handpiece, it's a very straightforward way of sort of removing. And what's inside there is, can you see that? Just about. Yep. Okay. And you can't put it the other way around. It just won't go in because of the way the pattern is basically on these. There's some grooves here. Yep. So there's two lines here and one line here. So you can only put it the way. And the same here. There's you can only take it out one way, and you've got to put it back the same way you've took it out. So if it makes sense. But yeah. And that'll just slide in easily, but if I try and do it the other way, quite obviously it's not going to do it. Just push it in. Just firm tight. These sort of things just to firm tight. You do not need to sort of stress the crap out of these screws. Just to firm tight. Okay. And finally, which is something that I should have done before we call it a day, is to sort of find out the weight of the unit, the bay unit itself. Should have done that before actually. Right, power it on, put it onto kg. Okay, and let's sort of find out the weight of the unit. Right, okay. So the weight of the unit is 2.590 kg. Converting that onto gram, that would be 2,590 gram, which is the actual weight of the unit. Let me show you if you can. There we go. Okay, that's in gram, and that's in kg. Let's get this out. Okay. Put the kettle lid back in. Power the unit up again, and superb. So, as I said, very ergonomic, very light, and you know, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. Now, going on to the specification, which I should have done that right from the beginning, is the features and benefit. I'm reading it off the manufacturer's website. You will find this information through the manufacturer's website, but I'll just quickly whiz through that. It has a 200 watt ceramic heater, dual stage pump. Okay, let me sort of get this a bit closer to the thing. Okay, provides the power and performance needed to deliver the right amount of thermal energy. Digital airflow and temperature control. 2 LED display provides graphical and numerical representation for the desired airflow and temperature. Fast response and performance. A microprocessor controlled closed loop feedback system provides fast heating, precise and stable temperature control. Standby mode. When the handpiece is placed in the into the work stand, the temperature will drop. Prolonged heater life. Replaceable handpiece, which I talked about before. The handpiece has been redesigned to allow removal from the front of the machine. Ergonomic and lightweight handpiece, which I did the weight test on it. Slim ergonomic design handpiece that feels like a pencil, which, to be quite honest with you, I was pretty impressed with it. It is very, very, very light. So, you know, very light. Now, what is it? Okay. So let me just read this back. So, slim and ergonomic design handpiece that feels like a pencil with a rubber grip, which is this bit here. That's the rubber grip, and it's sort of, yes, it's very comfortable to sort of hold. That's a bit slippy. That sort of, you can sort of grip onto it, and it's not slippy. That. So that's the rubber grip. What these guys are referring to. What else? Where am I up to now? Okay, easy change heater, nozzle and handpiece. All can be changed in a moment with the help of this, but ideally I would let the unit cool down. I would do it, I'll let the unit cool down to about 100 degrees Celsius, and then you'd sort of use this to change it should you need to change the actual nozzles. What else? Nozzle sizes. As I mentioned to you before, it's from 1.5 mil, 2 mil, 2.5 mil, 3 mil, 3.5, and 4 mil, and they both come in the form of pack of 6 of bend or pack of 6 of straight. Nozzles here. Now ideally I would prefer these over them, but it's down to your discretion. The bend nozzles is something that I would definitely rate it as my sort of preferences. Now, in terms of, let me sort of give you a bit more input on this. Just bear with me for a second. Yes, there's two models. Model 1 is HCT. Let me see if I can get this on the screen for you guys so you can get a better idea. Okay, so here we've got, there's two models here. Let me just sort of scroll from there. So this is what all the manufacturing sale pitches are, which, you know, okay, fair enough. I'm not going to sort of whinge about that. And the two models here is the HCT200-200. That's going to be for Europe and other countries where it's 110 volt AC, and for UK and so countries where the HCT200-21, that stands for the 220 to 240 volts AC. Now these are the part numbers here on this side for all the stuff, replacement parts. So that's the heater, the work stand, and the replacement stand and the nozzle holder, which is the stand itself, the handpiece, what I've taken off before, the bend nozzles and the straight nozzles. Okay, and the technical specification, ambient operation between 10 to 40 degree, blah blah blah, input 200 watts, airflow is this 7.L litre per minute. I should have said bar. I did mention bar. I do apologise. I was wrong. It's litre per minute. Typical under 52 decibel. You know, and it's pretty quiet. Actually, very quiet. The temperature output ranges from 100 degree to 450 degree. Temperature stability, 10% of display value. So whatever it is, up and down, blah blah. What else is there? That's the size, the weight, and yep. So that's it really. And Metcal have actually introduced one thing that I was going to talk to you about is the soldering station that they brought out. It's this one, the CV512, and I was inches away sort of from ordering this. And I stopped all of a sudden because I soon found out that this connection validation handpiece basically. Look into it if you're interested in buying a new station. I'd definitely sort of invest in that. But they're still working on they haven't got a large variety of hand cartridges, you know, variations of cartridges basically. I have tons of cartridges which are for the MX 5000 series, but not the CV 55210. It is not compatible, and I do repeat myself. The patent STTC cartridges part number starting with STTC or SMTC are not compatible with the connection validation unit basically. So do not buy this under the impression that you will be able to use the old cartridges, because the old cartridges will not work on this. There was a manual I downloaded actually, and I'm pretty sure I'm just quickly whiz through and see if I can find that. I do understand the fact that this review has nothing to do with this unit, but I'd rather, I was struggling to find that information. It's Solder Connection is the website where I actually found that information. So let's just sort of see if I can get this website. Solder Connection is one of the UK distributor for Metcal, and under here there was a information somewhere. Come on, where is it? There was somewhere, there was a PDF document which I actually looked at, and underneath it said that it's not sort of compatible. Now please forgive me for the length of time this is taken, but I need to recap my memory and try and find out where that was. This is right. Okay, let's try this actually. Is there anything here? That validation instruction PDF cartridges tip. It should be under tip somewhere. No, I just can't find it. I'm so sorry, but trust me, ring up customer services and they'll tell you exactly the same thing. There was a PDF document what I've actually seen, and it does not support the SMTC or the STTC cartridges. So anything that's for the MX 5200 the cartridges for the MX5000 and 5200, it will not, or even MX500, the very first edition of Metcal Soldering Station, it will not support it with the new unit. You're just going to have to take my word for it. I do apologise that I did have the link somewhere, but I just can't find it. I bet as soon as I stop recording, I'll find that daft thingy. Let me just quickly look at my download folder and see if there is anything that I can sort of find here that can jog my memory actually. Connection validation, right, okay, monitor, cartridge. Ah, yes, I think I've found it. Yeah, I have, superb. I downloaded that actually, so yes. So, superb, just to sort of, so CV series 5200 series, which is this, and then the new cartridge smart number, blah 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 blah. Let's go down this. Okay, so cartridge part number, cross-reference table. Okay, so anything with STTC, which the new part number is this. So these are all the old part numbers, the SMTC, and these are the new part number. Now here's what you will be surprised. Where is it gone? Piss off, stop messing around. Oh, come on. Now you guys are probably thinking I'm telling you a pack of lies. It was there, it was literally there in a small print on a corner here somewhere, where it said that the cartridges are not compatible. Come on. Blah blah blah, new cartridges for next part number. I'm gonna give up on this. I'm sorry guys, but really sorry, but I just can't now prove this to yourself that it's not gonna work. No, I'm not gonna, so I'll save the embarrassment that you know, but ring up the customer services and I can guarantee you £1,000 that the new cartridges won't work, because I have seen it somewhere on one of these websites where it does sort of quite clearly says that one of the main websites, not just any websites, that it will not support it. So I'm just a bit disappointed that the unit, I could not sort of validate my statement. Okay, so I'm still sort of looking, to be dead honest with you, I'm still looking at the manufacturer's website and Solder Connections website just to see what the situation is. Data, video, tip guide. What's this tip guide is? Let's have a quick look. And it's compatible. The CV and SMC cartridges are compatible to system. Okay, so what they're trying to say here, this is getting very confusing, right? Okay, so the CVC and SMC cartridges, which are the new cartridges, right, okay, are compatible, backward compatible to the earlier series of the system, so the soldering stations. So let me not confuse things, right? Okay, so the STTC and SMTC cartridges are sort of not compatible with the new system, which is the CV52010 connection validation soldering station, the newer one, but the CVC, which are the new series of cartridges, for example here, so that's the old, that's the new, that's backward compatible, so you can use it on these handpieces, but you can't use the new cartridges onto the older handpieces, basically. What a fucking bollocking bullshit this is, right? Okay, and it's confusing, but let's just quickly scroll through and see if there is a CV catalogue. Come on, is there anything here? Anything here? Come on. Oh. So this is all the cartridge lists, the variations. Nope. So these are all the cartridges basically. But this is, anyway, this is, if anybody's interested, you need to pause the video, read this basically before you buy the new unit. I was only probably about minutes away from ordering it until I thought, right, I'm gonna say, let me do a bit of a detective work and find out what's going on. And I found out that, you know, the cartridges are not going to work with the handpiece for that comes with the new station. So unfortunately, as a result of that, I disregarded the order basically. Okay, so going back into the initial thingy, we're going to sort of finalise this now. I think it's a thumbs up. Well done, Metcal. Pretty, you know, impressive product. And however, what I will be doing is I'll be doing a review, a comparison between the 3 rework systems as soon as I get the time. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. All the best and have a great weekend. Take care. Bye for now.